A very quick video here about parenting objects, and if you're following along with the series, you've actually already seen it happen on this very object here, the canvas. You see it's got this drop down menu. That's because everything under this canvas is actually a child object of the canvas. A better example are actually the buttons. They get generated with a child object in them already. And what does that mean? We can see this text and we can move around the text itself, but then when we move around the button, the text is stuck to the button in whatever place we put it in as the text. So if I put it here, it follows around the button. It also does that for things like rotation. It doesn't just copy the rotation from here, it actually moves as if it's part of the same object. So if I rotate this around its center, the button text will rotate around like that. So let's just show you that real quick. As you can see, it doesn't just copy the same rotation information, it actually moves with it as if it's one big rigid object. This, of course, is very, very valuable, because if we go back to our little square here, or our main camera rather, we've had this square that can move for a little while now, but if we put that in the center of the screen and we drag this camera onto our square object, it will now be a child object of the square, meaning that it will move with the square. So if we move the square now, we can see the camera moves with it. Let's just quickly put down a couple of sprites here in our game world to have a little bit of context of where we're moving towards, because that holds true in game as well. As you can see, because the camera is moving with us, we can see that we're actually moving around in the game world. If you want to access the parent through code, which you're going to want to do, you're going to want to set or clear parents through code, or just see what a object's parent is through code. The way we do that is through a transform variable. It's part of the information that you can find. Of course, we first get the component for its value, but then we can, for instance, say transform dot parent equals, and now we need to put in another transform. So let's make a public transform, call it parent, and now when the game starts, our player will be parented to whatever transform we put into this field. So let's say we want to parent our player to this circle. What we do is we go into our square, we see our player movement, parent field, and we simply drag that over into there. And this way we can set parents through code rather than only through the editor. And now let's go scene view and game view side by side real quick. We can see if we move this, we're parents to the circle. If we rotate the circle, we can see the player rotates around it. And that's already a very, very useful way to use this. Is if you want to have one object circle around another object, what we can do is we could, for instance, let's say we want to have a circle that circles around this circle. So we add this, and then if we make a empty object, it's just a object with nothing on it other than a transform, and we then parent that circle that's going to have to rotate around the center circle here to that empty. Now this empty does nothing else other than just rotating around in an orbiting fashion. If you look at my own game, we have a camera with a camera holder object, and that camera holder object itself is actually stuck on the player. But when we turn this around, you can see that makes the camera orbit around the player, which in gameplay looks like this. So that's a quick little video to cover how parenting works in the Unity engine, and not only in Unity, really in any program that you're going to see like parent-child relationships in, this is how it works. If you're looking to work in After Effects for any reason, to like make a fun little animation for your game, and you run into parent-child relations, this is how it works. And thanks to my patrons, you can see them on screen right now.